Ever witnessed a miracle in a grocery store? When Anna, a struggling mother, and her young son Ethan walked into the store, they were just hoping to get a few essentials. But an unexpected accusation of theft put them in the spotlight. In the midst of their desperation, an act of compassion from a stranger changes their lives forever. The grocery store buzzed with the hum of the weekday rush. Shoppers moved briskly between aisles, carts clattering, conversations merging into a constant buzz. The air was filled with the comforting aroma of fresh bread and ripe fruits. The chime above the door jingled, and heads turned as a frail woman, clutching the hand of a young boy, stepped inside. They were an unusual sight among the polished, well-dressed crowd. The woman's clothes were worn, her hair slightly disheveled, and the boy's shoes were a size too large. Anna's eyes darted nervously, taking in the surroundings. She held Ethan's hand tightly, guiding him towards the fresh produce section. Ethan's eyes were wide with wonder, marveling at the vibrant fruits and vegetables. It was clear this world of plenty was unfamiliar to them. As Anna moved cautiously through the aisles, she picked up a loaf of bread, some milk, and a small bag of apples. She glanced at the prices, her brow furrowing with worry. Ethan tugged at her sleeve, pointing at a box of cereal with a bright cartoon character on the front. Anna smiled weakly, shaking her head. "Maybe next time, sweetheart," she whispered. Behind the counter, Sarah, the cashier, watched them intently. Sarah had been working at the store for years and had a keen eye for the people who walked through its doors. Something about Anna and Ethan caught her attention, perhaps it was the weariness in Anna's eyes or the way Ethan clung to her. Sarah's brow furrowed as she noticed Anna slipping an extra item, a small jar of peanut butter, into her bag. It was a subtle movement, almost imperceptible, but Sarah caught it. Her initial reaction was one of suspicion. Theft was not uncommon, and the store had strict policies against it. Anna approached the checkout counter, her heart pounding. She placed her items on the belt, trying to keep her hands steady. Ethan stood by her side, his eyes still wandering around the store. "Did you find everything you were looking for?" Sarah asked, her voice calm but tinged with suspicion. Anna nodded, avoiding eye contact. "Yes, thank you," she replied softly. Sarah began scanning the items, her eyes flicking between the screen and Anna. When she reached the end of the line, she paused, her gaze settling on Anna's bag. "Ma'am, I need to ask you to step aside for a moment," Sarah said, her voice firm but not unkind. Anna's heart sank. She knew what was coming. She glanced down at Ethan, who looked up at her with wide, innocent eyes. "Is there a problem?" Anna asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Sarah leaned in slightly, lowering her voice. "I saw you take an extra item and put it in your bag," she said gently. "I need to ask you about it." Anna's face flushed with embarrassment. She opened her mouth to explain, but the words caught in her throat. She felt a wave of shame wash over her, mingling with the desperation that had driven her to this point. Ethan tugged at her sleeve, sensing her distress. "Mommy, are we in trouble?" he asked, his voice small and frightened. Anna crouched down to his level, forcing a smile. "No, honey. Everything's going to be okay," she said, though she wasn't sure she believed it herself. The murmurs of the other customers grew louder as they watched the scene unfold. Some looked on with curiosity, others with judgment. Anna could feel their eyes on her, each glance a tiny dagger of humiliation. Taking a deep breath, Anna turned back to Sarah. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice trembling. "I didn't mean to take it. I lost my job a few months ago, and we don't have a home right now. I was just trying to get enough food for my son." Sarah's expression softened. The sternness in her eyes melted away, replaced by something akin to compassion. She glanced at Ethan, who was clutching his mother's hand, looking confused and scared. Before Sarah could respond, the store manager, Mr. Thompson, appeared. He was a tall man with a stern face, his presence commanding immediate attention. "What's going on here?" Mr. Thompson demanded, his eyes darting between Sarah and Anna. Sarah straightened up, her professional demeanor returning. "Mr. Thompson, I believe this customer may have taken an item without paying," she said. "But I think there's more to the story." Mr. Thompson's eyes narrowed. Is that so? He asked, his tone sharp. Ma'am, I'm afraid I have to call the police. We have a zero-tolerance policy for theft. Anna's face went pale. Please, no, she pleaded. I can pay for the items. I didn't mean to steal. I don't have enough money right now. The crowd grew restless, their whispers growing louder. Some looked sympathetic, while others seemed to agree with the manager's decision. It was a scene that had played out countless times in different places, the struggle of those on the brink of survival clashing with the rigid rules of society. Before Mr. Thompson could respond, a voice cut through the tension. Wait. A well-dressed man stepped forward from the crowd. He had a kind face and an air of authority that commanded respect. He approached the counter, his eyes on Anna and Ethan. My name is Tom, he said, extending his hand to Anna. I couldn't help but overhear. If it's all right, I'd like to pay for her groceries. Mr. Thompson looked taken aback. Sir, this is a serious matter. We can't just let people walk away after stealing. Tom nodded, his expression serious. I understand, but I believe there's room for compassion here. This woman and her son are clearly in need. Let me cover the cost, and perhaps we can find a way to help them rather than punish them. Sarah glanced at Mr. Thompson, then back at Tom. The manager hesitated, the stern lines on his face softening slightly. He took a deep breath and nodded. Very well, Mr. Thompson said. But this is an exception, not the rule. Anna's eyes filled with tears of relief and gratitude. Thank you, she whispered to Tom. Thank you so much. Tom smiled warmly. It's the least I can do, he said. Why don't you come to my office after this? I'd like to see if there's more we can do to help you get back on your feet. Sarah, moved by the act of kindness she had just witnessed, turned to Anna. And if you're interested, we could use some extra help here at the store. It might be a way to start fresh. Anna looked from Tom to Sarah, her heart swelling with hope for the first time in months. She nodded, her voice choked with emotion. Thank you. Both of you. I don't know how to repay your kindness. Ethan, sensing the shift in his mother's mood, smiled up at her. Mommy, are we going to be okay now? Anna hugged him tightly, her tears flowing freely. Yes, sweetheart. I think we are. As they left the store, the crowd began to disperse, their conversations returning to the everyday matters of life. But for Anna and Ethan, everything had changed in that brief moment of compassion. The world, which had seemed so cold and unforgiving, suddenly felt a little bit brighter. Sarah watched them go, a smile playing on her lips. She turned to Tom, who was watching the door with a thoughtful expression. Thank you, she said softly. For what you did. Tom nodded, his eyes still on the door. Sometimes, all it takes is one small act of kindness to change someone's life, he said. And sometimes, it changes more than one. As the day continued and the store buzzed with activity, the memory of that encounter lingered in the air. It was a reminder that even in the busiest, most ordinary places, moments of extraordinary kindness could happen, and those moments could make all the difference. The memory of the grocery store encounter lingered in Anna's mind as she and Ethan walked to Tom's office. The sun was setting, casting a warm, golden hue over the small town. Anna's heart was heavy with a mixture of gratitude and anxiety. She had no idea what awaited her, but she knew she had to try. For Ethan's sake. Tom's office was in a modest building a few blocks from the grocery store. As they approached, Anna noticed the sign, Thomas Andrews, Community Outreach. She took a deep breath and pushed the door open, the bell above it tinkling softly. Inside, the office was cozy and welcoming. Shelves lined with books and framed photos of smiling families decorated the walls. A large desk sat in the middle of the room, behind which Tom was seated. He looked up and smiled warmly as they entered. Anna, Ethan, please come in, Tom said, rising from his chair and gesturing to a pair of comfortable chairs opposite his desk. Make yourselves at home. Anna sat down, pulling Ethan onto her lap. He looked around curiously, his small fingers gripping her hand. Thank you for seeing us, Anna said, her voice barely above a whisper. And for what you did at the store. Tom waved a hand dismissively. No need to thank me. I'm just glad I was there to help. He leaned forward, resting his elbows on the desk. Tell me more about your situation, Anna. How did you find yourself in this position? Anna took a deep breath, her eyes welling up with tears. I lost my job a few months ago. I was working as a receptionist, but the company downsized, and I was let go. Since then, I've been trying to find work, but it's been tough. We couldn't afford the rent anymore, so we lost our apartment. We've been staying in shelters, but it's not easy. Tom listened intently, his expression compassionate. I see. And what about family? Friends? Anyone who can help? Anna shook her head. My parents passed away a few years ago, and I don't have any siblings. Ethan's father left us when he was just a baby. It's just been the two of us. Ethan looked up at Tom, his eyes wide. Mr. Tom, do you have kids? He asked innocently. Tom's face softened. I do. I have 2 daughters. They're a bit older than you, Ethan, but I remember when they were your age. Kids are a handful, but they're also a blessing. Ethan nodded solemnly. My mom says I'm a blessing too. Tom chuckled. She's right about that. He turned his attention back to Anna. Anna, I think we can help you. I have connections with several local businesses, and I'm confident we can find you a job. In the meantime, I can arrange for some temporary housing. It won't be luxurious, but it will be safe and stable. Anna's eyes filled with tears of relief. I don't know how to thank you, she said, her voice trembling. This means the world to us. Tom smiled. Let's take it one step at a time. I'll make some calls and see what we can do. In the meantime, why don't you take Ethan home and get some rest? We'll start fresh tomorrow. Anna nodded, hugging Ethan tightly. Thank you, Tom. We'll do our best. As they left Tom's office, Anna felt a glimmer of hope she hadn't felt in months. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but for the first time in a long time, she felt like they had a chance. The next day, Anna woke early, eager to see what opportunities awaited. She dressed Ethan in his cleanest clothes and did her best to make herself presentable. They arrived at the grocery store, where Sarah greeted them with a warm smile. Good morning, Anna, Sarah said. Tom told me about your meeting. I'm so glad he's able to help. Anna smiled back, her heart swelling with gratitude. Me too. Thank you for everything, Sarah. I don't know what we would have done without you. Sarah waved her hand. Don't mention it. I'm just glad we could help. She glanced at Ethan, who was looking around the store with wide eyes. How about I give Ethan a little tour of the store while you talk to Tom? I bet he'd like to see how everything works. Ethan's face lit up with excitement. Can I, Mom? Please? Anna laughed, ruffling his hair. Of course, sweetie. Be good for Sarah, okay? Ethan nodded eagerly, and Sarah took his hand, leading him towards the back of the store. Anna watched them go, her heart swelling with gratitude. She turned and headed towards Tom's office, where he was already waiting. Good morning, Anna, Tom said, rising to greet her. I have some good news. I spoke with a friend of mine who owns a small cafe downtown. They're looking for help, and I think it would be a great fit for you. The hours are flexible, and it's close to the temporary housing I've arranged for you. Anna felt a wave of relief wash over her. Thank you, Tom. I can't believe how quickly things are turning around. Tom smiled warmly. Sometimes, all it takes is a little help to get back on your feet. You'll do great, Anna. I have no doubt. Over the next few days, Anna settled into her new job at the cafe. The work was challenging but fulfilling, and she quickly found herself enjoying the rhythm of the busy kitchen. The staff was friendly and supportive, and Anna felt a sense of camaraderie she hadn't experienced in a long time. Ethan adjusted well to the temporary housing, making friends with the other children and thriving in the stable environment. He attended a nearby school, where his teachers noted his bright spirit and eagerness to learn. One evening, as Anna and Ethan sat together at the small kitchen table in their new home, Anna felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in months. They shared a simple meal, talking and laughing together. Ethan's eyes sparkled with happiness, and Anna's heart swelled with love for her son. "Mommy, do you think we'll stay here forever?" Ethan asked, his voice filled with childlike wonder. Anna smiled, reaching across the table to take his hand. "I don't know, sweetheart. But what I do know is that we're going to be okay. We're going to keep moving forward, one step at a time." Ethan nodded, his eyes shining with hope. "I like it here. And I like my new friends. I'm glad we met Mr. Tom and Miss Sarah." Anna's heart swelled with gratitude. "Me too, honey. Me too." As they finished their meal and prepared for bed, Anna felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew there would still be challenges ahead, but for the first time in a long time, she felt equipped to face them. With the support of new friends and the promise of a brighter future, Anna and Ethan were ready to embrace whatever came next. The encounter at the grocery store had been a turning point, a moment of unexpected kindness that had set them on a new path. And as they drifted off to sleep that night, Anna knew that no matter what, they would face the future together, with hope and resilience in their hearts. The days began to blend into a routine for Anna and Ethan, a welcome change from the chaos that had defined their lives for so long. The cafe job was more than just work, it was a lifeline. Each day, Anna felt herself growing stronger, more confident, and more hopeful. One afternoon, as the cafe buzzed with the lunchtime rush, Anna was busy behind the counter, preparing a fresh pot of coffee. She had become a familiar face to the regular customers, and their friendly greetings filled her with a sense of belonging. "Hey, Anna, can I get a refill?" called out Mr. Jenkins, an elderly man who visited the cafe every day. "Sure thing, Mr. Jenkins," Anna replied with a smile, reaching for the coffee pot. As she poured the coffee, the door chime rang, and she looked up to see Tom entering the cafe. He spotted Anna and waved, making his way to the counter. "Good afternoon, Anna," Tom greeted her warmly. "How are things going?" "Hi, Tom," Anna replied, her smile brightening. "Everything's going great. Thanks again for helping me get this job. I don't know what we would have done without you." Tom smiled, shaking his head. "You don't need to thank me, Anna. You're the one doing all the hard work. I'm just glad to see you thriving." Before Anna could respond, the door chimed again, and a man entered, his eyes scanning the room. He was tall, with a stern expression and a uniform that made Anna's heart skip a beat. It was a police officer. The cafe fell silent as the officer approached the counter, his gaze fixed on Anna. "Ma'am, are you Anna Thompson?" he asked, his voice firm. Anna felt a knot of fear tighten in her stomach. "Yes, that's me," she replied, her voice trembling slightly. "Is there something wrong?" The officer nodded. "I'm afraid there is. We've received a report about a theft at the grocery store last week. I need to ask you a few questions." A murmur of surprise rippled through the cafe. The regular customers exchanged puzzled glances, and Anna felt a wave of humiliation wash over her. She glanced at Tom, who had gone pale, his expression a mix of shock and concern. "Officer, there must be some mistake," Tom interjected. Anna explained her situation, and we resolved it. There was no theft. The officer shook his head. "I'm sorry, sir, but we have to follow protocol. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to come with me to the station." Anna's heart pounded in her chest. She felt dizzy, the room spinning around her. "But I didn't mean to steal anything," she stammered. "I was just trying to get food for my son." The officer's expression softened slightly, but his tone remained firm. "I understand, ma'am, but we still need to clear this up. Please come with me." Tom stepped forward, his voice steady. "Officer, let me accompany her. I'm her employer, and I can vouch for her character." The officer hesitated, then nodded. "All right, but she still needs to come to the station." Anna's hands trembled as she removed her apron and handed it to her coworker. "Can you watch Ethan for me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Her coworker, a kind woman named Maria, nodded. "Of course, Anna. Don't worry, we'll take care of him." Anna glanced at Tom, who gave her a reassuring nod, then turned to follow the officer out of the cafe. The silence that followed was thick with tension, the usual hum of conversation replaced by hushed whispers. At the station, Anna and Tom were led into a small, sterile room. The officer gestured for Anna to sit, then took a seat across from her. Tom stood by her side, his presence a comforting anchor. "Ma'am, we have a witness who claims they saw you take an item without paying," the officer said, his tone professional but not unkind. "Can you explain what happened?" Anna took a deep breath, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. "I was desperate," she began, her voice shaking. "I lost my job, we lost our home, and I didn't know what to do. I took the jar of peanut butter because I didn't have enough money to pay for it. But when Sarah, the cashier, confronted me, I explained everything. Tom here paid for the groceries, and they let us go." The officer nodded, jotting down notes. "I understand, ma'am. Desperation can make people do things they wouldn't normally do. However, we still need to follow up on the report. I'll need statements from Sarah and Mr. Thompson." Tom stepped forward. "Officer, Sarah can confirm everything Anna just told you. This woman is not a thief, she's a mother trying to provide for her son. Surely there must be some way to resolve this without further distressing her." The officer looked thoughtful for a moment, then nodded. "I'll speak with Sarah and get her statement. In the meantime, Anna, you're free to go. Just stay available in case we need to follow up." Anna exhaled a shaky breath, relief washing over her. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Tom placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Let's get you back to the cafe," he said gently. "Ethan will be worried." As they left the station, Anna felt a mix of relief and lingering fear. She knew this wasn't over, but she was grateful for Tom's support. They walked back to the cafe in silence, the gravity of the situation weighing heavily on her mind. When they arrived, Ethan ran up to Anna, throwing his arms around her. "Mommy, are you okay?" he asked, his voice filled with concern. Anna hugged him tightly, fighting back tears. "I'm okay, sweetheart. Everything's going to be fine." Tom knelt down beside Ethan, ruffling his hair. "Your mom is very brave, Ethan. And she's going to be just fine." Ethan looked up at Tom with wide eyes. "Thank you, Mr. Tom," he said earnestly. "For helping us." Tom smiled warmly. "It's my pleasure, buddy. Now, how about we get you a nice big cookie from the cafe? On the house." Ethan's face lit up with excitement. "Really? Thank you." As they returned to the cafe, Anna felt a renewed sense of determination. She knew there would still be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them. With Tom's support and the kindness of people like Sarah, she believed they could get through anything. The next day, Sarah approached Anna with a worried expression. "I heard about what happened," she said softly. "I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I'll give my statement to the police right away and clear everything up." Anna nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Sarah. I don't know what I would do without you." Sarah smiled warmly. "We're a team, Anna. And we'll get through this together." As the days passed, the incident at the grocery store slowly faded into the background. Anna continued to work hard at the cafe, her confidence growing with each passing day. The regular customers began to see her not as a stranger, but as a friend, and the sense of community she felt became a source of strength. One evening, as Anna and Ethan walked home from the cafe, the sky painted with the soft hues of twilight, Anna felt a sense of peace. She knew their journey was far from over, but with the support of their new friends, she felt ready to face whatever came next. Ethan looked up at her, his eyes filled with trust and love. "Mommy, are we really going to be okay?" Anna smiled, her heart full. "Yes, sweetheart. We are. We're going to be just fine." As they continued their walk, the world around them seemed a little brighter, a little kinder. And Anna knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, with hope and resilience in their hearts. As the weeks passed, Anna's life began to settle into a comfortable rhythm. She worked diligently at the cafe, grateful for the stability it provided. Ethan was thriving in school, his days filled with laughter and learning. The temporary housing was modest but clean, a safe haven for them to rebuild their lives. One sunny afternoon, as Anna was wiping down the counter, the door chime rang, and Tom walked in. He smiled warmly as he approached the counter. "Hey, Anna. How are things going?" he asked, leaning against the counter. "Hi, Tom. Everything's going well, thanks to you," Anna replied, her smile genuine. "I'm really enjoying the job, and Ethan loves his new school." Tom nodded, pleased. "I'm glad to hear that. Listen, I have something I'd like to discuss with you. Do you have a few minutes?" Anna wiped her hands on her apron and nodded. "Of course. Let me just finish up here." She quickly completed her tasks and joined Tom at a corner table. Tom had always been kind, but today he seemed especially thoughtful. "Anna, I've been thinking a lot about your situation," Tom began, his tone serious but kind. "You've made incredible progress, and I'm really proud of how far you've come. But I think there's more we can do to help you get fully back on your feet." Anna felt a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. "What do you mean?" she asked. Tom leaned forward, his eyes meeting hers. "I have a small business grant program through my community outreach organization. It's designed to help people like you start their own businesses. I think you would be an excellent candidate." Anna's eyes widened in surprise. "Me? Start a business? I don't know anything about running a business." Tom smiled reassuringly. "You wouldn't be alone. We provide training, mentorship, and ongoing support. You're hardworking, resourceful, and you have a great rapport with people. I think you'd do wonderfully." Anna felt a surge of emotions, excitement, fear, hope. "I don't know what to say, Tom. This is such an incredible opportunity, but it's also a huge responsibility." Tom nodded, understanding. "It is. But I believe in you, Anna. You've already shown incredible resilience and determination. And remember, you won't be doing this alone. We'll be with you every step of the way." Anna took a deep breath, trying to process the offer. "What kind of business are we talking about?" Tom's eyes lit up. "Well, that's up to you. We can explore different ideas and find something that suits your skills and passions. It could be anything from a small bakery to a community craft shop. The important thing is that it's something you're passionate about." Anna's mind raced with possibilities. She had always loved baking, and the idea of running her own bakery filled her with a sense of purpose and excitement. But she also knew it would be a lot of hard work. "I need some time to think about it," she said finally, her voice steady. "But I'm really grateful for the opportunity, Tom." "Thank you." Tom smiled warmly. "Take all the time you need. Just know that whatever you decide, we're here to support you." As the days passed, Anna couldn't stop thinking about Tom's offer. She spent her evenings researching small business ideas, jotting down notes and brainstorming possibilities. The idea of starting her own bakery grew more appealing with each passing day. One evening, as she was tucking Ethan into bed, he looked up at her with bright eyes. "Mommy, what's been on your mind lately? You've been thinking a lot." Anna smiled, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "Well, Ethan, Mr. Tom has offered to help me start my own business. I'm thinking about maybe opening a bakery." Ethan's eyes widened with excitement. "A bakery? With cakes and cookies and everything?" Anna laughed softly. "Yes, sweetheart. With cakes and cookies and everything. But it's a big decision, and I want to make sure it's the right one for us." Ethan nodded thoughtfully. "I think you'd be great at it, Mommy. You make the best cookies in the world." Anna felt her heart swell with love and pride. "Thank you, Ethan. That means a lot to me." The next day, Anna approached Tom at the cafe, her mind made up. "Tom, I've thought about your offer, and I'd like to give it a try. I want to start a bakery." Tom's face lit up with a smile. "That's fantastic, Anna. I'm so glad you've decided to go for it. We'll get started right away." Over the next few weeks, Anna immersed herself in the business training program. She learned about budgeting, marketing, and customer service. She met with a mentor who had years of experience in the bakery industry, and they spent hours discussing recipes, menu ideas, and business strategies. Tom was there every step of the way, offering guidance and encouragement. Sarah, the cashier from the grocery store, even offered to help out in the bakery once it was up and running. The support from the community was overwhelming, and Anna felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. Finally, the day arrived. The bakery, named Anna's Sweets, was ready to open its doors. The shop was cozy and inviting, with the delicious aroma of freshly baked goods wafting through the air. Ethan was there, beaming with pride, as Anna tied on her apron and unlocked the door. The first customers trickled in, drawn by the inviting atmosphere and the promise of delicious treats. Anna greeted each one with a warm smile, her heart full of gratitude and excitement. As the day went on, the bakery filled with the buzz of conversation and laughter. People from all over the community came to support Anna, eager to try her baked goods and offer their congratulations. Tom and Sarah were there, their smiles reflecting the pride they felt in Anna's success. At the end of the day, as Anna closed up the shop and counted the day's earnings, she felt a deep sense of accomplishment. It had been a long and difficult journey, but she had made it. With the support of her community and the love of her son, she had turned her life around. Ethan ran up to her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "Mommy, today was the best day ever." Anna laughed, hugging him tightly. "It really was, wasn't it?" Tom approached, his smile warm and proud. "You did it, Anna. I knew you could." Anna felt tears of gratitude well up in her eyes. "I couldn't have done it without you, Tom. Thank you for believing in me." Tom shook his head. "You did this, Anna. You had the strength and determination to make it happen. I'm just glad I could help." As Anna locked up the bakery and walked home with Ethan, she felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. She knew there would still be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them. With the support of her community and the love of her son, she felt unstoppable. The journey had been long and difficult, but it had led her to this moment. And as she walked hand in hand with Ethan, she knew that the future was bright and full of possibilities. The weeks turned into months, and Anna's Sweets became a beloved staple in the community. The bakery was always filled with the comforting aroma of fresh bread, cookies, and cakes. Customers from all walks of life came to enjoy Anna's creations, and the cozy atmosphere made it a favorite spot for families, friends, and even solo visitors seeking a quiet place to relax. Anna had never been happier. The bakery was thriving, and she loved every minute of it. The hard work was fulfilling, and the support from the community was overwhelming. Every morning, she opened the shop with a heart full of gratitude and hope. One crisp autumn morning, as Anna prepared the day's first batch of pastries, the door chime rang, and she looked up to see Sarah walking in with a warm smile. "Good morning, Anna," Sarah called out cheerfully. "I brought you some fresh apples from the farmer's market. Thought you might like to use them in one of your famous pies." Anna's face lit up with a smile. "Thank you, Sarah. That's so thoughtful of you. I was just thinking about making some apple pies today." Sarah placed the bag of apples on the counter and leaned in conspiratorially. "You know, Anna, you've really created something special here. The whole community loves this place." Anna blushed, wiping her hands on her apron. "I couldn't have done it without all of you. The support and kindness I've received have been incredible." Sarah nodded, her eyes twinkling. "Speaking of support, have you heard about the upcoming Harvest Festival? The town council is looking for local businesses to participate, and I think Anna's Sweets would be a perfect fit." Anna's eyes widened with excitement. "That sounds amazing. I'd love to be a part of it." "Great. I'll let them know you're interested. It'll be a fantastic opportunity to showcase your delicious treats to even more people," Sarah said, giving Anna a quick hug before heading out. As the day went on, Anna's excitement grew. She spent the afternoon experimenting with new recipes, eager to create something special for the festival. Ethan joined her after school, his eyes lighting up as he sampled the new treats. "Mommy, these are the best cookies ever," Ethan declared, his mouth full of chocolate chip cookie. Anna laughed, ruffling his hair. "I'm glad you like them, sweetheart. How was school today?" "It was great. We learned about the Harvest Festival, and I told my teacher that you're going to be there with your bakery. She said she can't wait to try your pies," Ethan said proudly. Anna felt a swell of pride. Well, we'll have to make sure to bake plenty of pies, then. The days leading up to the Harvest Festival were a whirlwind of activity. Anna and her small team of helpers worked tirelessly, baking and preparing for the big event. The support from the community was unwavering, and Anna felt deeply grateful for the love and encouragement she received. Finally, the day of the Harvest Festival arrived. The town square was transformed into a vibrant, bustling fairground, with colorful stalls, music, and laughter filling the air. Anna's booth was decorated with autumn leaves and twinkling lights, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere. As the festival began, a steady stream of customers approached Anna's booth, eager to sample her baked goods. The apple pies, in particular, were a huge hit, and Anna could barely keep up with the demand. Ethan was by her side, handing out samples and chatting with the customers. His enthusiasm was infectious, and Anna couldn't have been prouder of her little helper. "Try our apple pie. It's the best in town," Ethan called out, his face beaming with pride. As the day went on, Anna noticed a familiar face in the crowd. Tom was making his way towards the booth, his smile as warm as ever. He reached the booth and gave Anna a hug. "Anna, this is incredible." "Your booth is the highlight of the festival," Tom said, his eyes sparkling with pride. "Thank you, Tom. I couldn't have done it without your help and support," Anna replied, her heart full of gratitude. Tom shook his head. "You did this, Anna. Your hard work and talent have brought you here. I'm just glad I could be a part of it." As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the festival, Anna took a moment to reflect on how far she had come. The journey had been challenging, but it had also been filled with incredible moments of kindness, support, and love. She looked around at the smiling faces, the joyful laughter, and felt a profound sense of fulfillment. Later that evening, as Anna and Ethan walked home, their hands full of leftover treats, Ethan looked up at his mother with a contented smile. "Mommy, today was the best day ever," he said, his voice filled with happiness. Anna squeezed his hand, her heart swelling with love. "It really was, wasn't it? And there are going to be so many more good days, Ethan. I promise." Ethan nodded, his eyes shining with hope. "I believe you, Mommy." As they reached their home, Anna felt a sense of peace settle over her. She knew that there would still be challenges ahead, but she also knew that she had the strength and support to overcome them. The journey had been long and difficult, but it had led her to this moment of happiness and fulfillment. That night, as Anna tucked Ethan into bed, she sat by his side for a moment, watching him drift off to sleep. She thought about all the people who had helped them along the way, Tom, Sarah, and the entire community. Their kindness and generosity had made all the difference. As Anna lay in bed, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. She knew that life would always have its ups and downs, but she also knew that with love, kindness, and determination, anything was possible. The future was bright, and she was ready to face it with hope and courage. Anna closed her eyes, a smile on her lips, and drifted off to sleep, knowing that she and Ethan were truly home.